Guys, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday Night Live. My name is Jason, also known as Seva. It's been a minute since I've been here, and I'm really happy to be back. Actually, it's been about going on 6 months since I've done a live like this. I've been planning to come back and do some, but the timing just hasn't been right, and I'll go into all that in just a little bit here. But I decided tonight, there's been a lot of stuff going on this past week. With my family, we had a uncle who passed away, and so that's been kind of tough. And the funeral's tomorrow, family in town, different things going on. And I decided after a really long weekend, I decided, you know what? It's Sunday. This is the night to start doing Sunday Night Lives again. So here we are, and I'm really excited to be back here doing this because it's definitely something that I've missed. I had to take a long stretch of time for myself. Let me get a sip of my drink. I have some pink lemonade uh, that I'm going to be sipping on tonight. But yeah, it's it's been a minute. It's been a little minute. I'm just really happy to be back with you guys. I've been on kind of a roller coaster ride since I've been gone. Lots of changes, as you guys know. Things are always evolving. We're always evolving in life as human beings, and so there was a time when I first left that I wasn't sure I was going to come back. I just was kind of thinking of going in other directions and leaving all of this behind. Not because I don't love connecting with people and love what I do, but just because it can be, it can be a lot. It energetically. I mean, everybody's jobs, everything we do in life can be draining in different ways. For a while I went out and did some work at a metal fabrication shop, and that's physically very draining. Some people sit in front of a computer all day, which is can be mentally draining, hard on the eyes, that type of thing. So for me, this experience was a little different. It's draining in ways that are both physical, because it does drain your physical energy, but it's also emotionally draining. And because of the things that I was going through at the time, I needed my own little sort of vacay, and I've taken them in the past. This was a little different. This was really to get myself together. I did some self care. I went into a treatment facility for drug and alcohol because I was self medicating again to try and about a year ago I ended a relationship, and I was really trying to. My intention when I did that was to focus on myself and to focus on self improvement and self care. But I think I was just in so much pain, I just wasn't ready to do that yet. And it didn't go well the direction that I went in. But after some ups and downs, I've really found that I'm in a great place. I mean, I have been. Friday was 127 days sober, no self medicating, no alcohol, no nothing, just me and life, and so I'm really proud of that. It was hard fought for, and it's a daily struggle. I mean, it is. I don't feel daily that I'm in danger of a relapse necessarily, but it's a daily struggle just to continue to move forward, continue to work on yourself, continue to do the right things instead of listen to that angel, the dark angel on the other shoulder that wants you to go do things that aren't so healthy and aren't so good for you. So that's where I'm at. We're going to do some mini readings tonight, and I'm really excited to do it. I have, so far on the list, I have Malia. I don't know if Malia's here yet. But the list is open if you would like to get on the list. Oh, Jane! Thank you. Nice to see you, Jane. Welcome. Hey, how long has it been? At least 6 months, right? So if you would like to get on the list for mini reading, I put them on at, we're going to do, what did we say? Hang on one sec, guys. I'm not going anywhere. Okay. Jane, can you hear me okay? Do I need to put my earbuds in? How is the connection? Let me know if you can hear me okay. Sounds is not the best. Let me see. Let me see. Is that any better? Is that any better this time? Does it sound better now, or is it the same? Hey guys, welcome. Little better? Good. So anyway, yeah, that's where way better. Okay, good. Way better. I like way better. Jane, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Very good to see you. So yeah, like I said, it's been day to day, up and down. Um, Life is good for the most part, but life for all of us has its ups and downs. Energy wise, it's been crazy. Um, I'm happy to have your energy here, even though I can't see your face. Hug to you too. Energy wise, it's been very crazy. The There's just a lot, and I think when you take away one of your sort of crutches or whatever we use, whether it's food, drugs, alcohol, relationships. Hey, Chadsky, welcome. When you take one of those things away, it can be very difficult to keep functioning and keep moving forward and making progress. So every little thing you do and every little bit of progress you make feels like you've had to really scratch and fight for it, which is sometimes how life has to be, though, right? That's just the way it is. So, all right, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna do some minis tonight. I'm gonna start, and Chad's here now, so I'm gonna do his. Um, Chad, do you want to put a question in the chat, or do I already know your question? Guys, bear with me. I don't like these earbuds, or they're not earbuds. I guess they're earbuds. They're not AirPods. Yes, we'll do. Thank you. Thank you, Jane. I pinned it. Okay, I do. All right, so I've got a few cards out. I got my Tote deck. I'm using this deck a lot. I have been back and doing readings for people because I had a lot. I had, like I said, I was doing something different for a while, and I had really made a decision I wasn't going to really do this anymore, just because for me there were a couple reasons, but the biggest reason was I was really trying to not do anything that felt like it could put me in danger or negatively affect my energy, right? Put me in a danger of a relapse or anything like that. And so I was doing a completely different job, and I had a really crazy, just undeniably, like, I guess you would call it a true confirmation of sort of aligning with what I'm supposed to be doing, which is what it felt like for me. I was just not enjoying what I was doing. It felt like it was, if anything, it felt like it was a detriment to my recovery. And the same day that I called out sick and got fired from that job, and I got fired, I had 5 people reach out to me within about a 2 or 3 hour time frame to get readings. And some of them I hadn't talked to or heard from in months. So it was a real confirmation of what I was supposed to be doing and what direction I was supposed to be going in, because I was very connected spiritually and, in a lot of prayer, meditation, and submission to a higher power. And that all kind of happened at once. So sometimes you just have to stop pushing back against what the universe, God, is trying to tell you to do. So it's just one of those things. Oh man, angels coming through in spades. It was crazy. It was just one of those moments that telling about it doesn't do it justice. You have to actually experience it yourself to really understand it. But it was powerful. It was really powerful. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. You know? So here we go. I'm going to start with Chad. Let me say a little quick intention here. And oh, that's what I was doing. Sorry. Guys, bear with me. I haven't done this in a while. Okay, I've got a few different decks. I've got the Toth deck. I'm using that a lot with my private readings, like I was saying that I'm doing. I've got some Oracle stuff, Sacred Destiny, and Energy Oracle. I also got this Talking to Heaven deck, which I might pull out, Chad, because as you know, there's been some messages I felt like maybe wanted to come through for you recently. So let me just see what we do here.
Super swords. Thank you. Oh, Spirit team, thank you for allowing me to connect to Chad's energy. The energy of anyone who needs higher guidance. It's time. Thank you for the clear, direct, and necessary messages. Archangels, my higher guide. Okay. The messages for Chad at this time. Okay. Queen of Swords in the foundation, reversed. Air energy is usually about ideas or communication, verbal communication, thoughts, mental energy. This card is coming out reversed foundationally. Attached to this card is the nine. Wow. Attached to this card is the Eight of Wands, too. So, this card being in reverse in the foundation with the Eight of Wands attached to it, upright, for me, it feels like there's a lot of fast moving communication, unexpected communication from probably air. It could be also air sign in that sun, moon, or Venus, Libra, Aquarius, or um, sorry, Aquarius, Libra. What's the other air sign, guys? Gemini. Thank you. With that, I do feel like this is probably the Aquarian energy that you know. You've got the Prince of Swords coming out here, also in the near future, coming out of a Two of Swords energy. So there's been some communication that's to reach out or bring you or offer to you, but they're not doing it because they feel a part of them feels either like they're blocked literally or that they've got themselves blocked up. I mean, that Two of Swords, it's in the word blocked is coming through very strong, very undoubtedly. Also, what I find interesting is the other two cards beside that is the Three of Swords and the Three of Wands, both threes. So, what do we want to say about that with two threes coming in like that? Well, the Three of Swords and the Three of Wands are both fast moving, right? Swords and wands are both fast moving energy. They're air energy and fire, but they're fast. And the number three, it's a miraculous number, but and it represents it's a multiple it's a not a multiplication. It's an ascending number that can represent miraculous energy, a completion, the Trinity, something divinely guided, something sacred. Sorry, and it can also, because these two cards, neither one is exactly they don't feel like joyful energies. You can look at the cards and kind of pick up the energy from those. There's a little bit of it. You know what it feels like when you look at those cards to me? There's a lot of passion here, and there's also a lot of nostalgia, but there's not a lot of current energy present. This is a lot of past stuff trying to break back through. I'm going to pull some of the clarifiers from the vice versa deck. So there's definitely someone wanting to speak, but feels like they're either blocked by you or they have blocked themselves. So that totally makes sense given past experience. Don't know where it's at today, but it does make sense. Let me see if we can clarify some of this for more information. This person has been in 3 significant relationships. If you look at the 3 people represented there, there's 3 significant relationships this person has been in, and then there's this relationship with you that's been kind of the pinnacle or like the standard. And there's always a comparison, like no matter where they go, no matter what they do, they compare back to this experience. The Hermit's coming out on this side with energy of the Moon card down here. These are characters from the Moon card. This is in the vice versa deck. This side is considered a reversal, but it's not exactly a reversal. What this is saying is the last probably 6 weeks and probably the next few weeks are about recuperation, rest, and that totally tracks. But it's also about emotional healing, not just physical healing, because the moon being present here. And there is also some kind of message that's being sent energetically to that person that's coming through so strong. And that message is about healing for them, not just for you. So that's pretty powerful. And also with the Hangman coming out in reverse and the Five of Wands here, there's a conflict that's been left open-ended, but the conflict was divinely inspired. It was part of your divine path, and it was supposed to happen. See that? This was all supposed to happen. It was not by accident. It's 100% part of your uh, divine path and your destined path. And it also feels like for you, there's a huge amount of growth that's been unaccounted for. This is about this is about so much growth, so much transformation, so many blessings coming in. Sometimes we look at cards like this and we think, "Oh no, conflict." I mean, this is, so like a, a lot of times when I'm doing a reading, somebody will ask me, "Is that a bad card?" Well, it's not a fun card, right? It's not necessarily a fun card that's going to make you feel really happy, but it's a good card always because it's really showing, hey, Rebecca, it's really showing, what you need and why. So this conflict was a part of your Chad, this conflict was a part of your path, your destiny. And we've talked about this before with things like this. It's hard when you're in it to see the reasons why because the pain may be so great or it may be so unpleasant. And I know exactly this year's been like that for me, or at least the first part of this year was, and in the last half of last year. But once you get through that, you're going to see, oh, okay, this is why this happened. It's to take me to this better place. It's to take me to this wiser place. And even to take me to a place where, and if when it's attached to another person, which the biggest lessons usually are in some way, and sometimes in many ways, it's for them too. The same thing. It may not be the same exact lesson, but the growth is the same, and where it takes you is going to give the same amount of reward, if not in the same way with the same energy. It is going to bring reward, right? So that's important to remember. We'll look real quick. Okay, I just got Rebecca. So on the list, Jane or Rebecca, if you guys don't mind keeping the list, well, it may just be a couple of people because I haven't been on in so long, but it's going to be Malia and Rebecca so far. Hold on a sec. Okay, an outlook for Chad. So, future outlook, you have the star card, Chad. Okay, star card, Aquarius energy. This is slow moving with this sort of clarifying it. The page, or in this case, Prince or Knight of, I'm sorry, not the page, the Knight or Prince of Pentacles. This is really going to be just like the cards. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of Aquarian energy, and this doesn't surprise me. Even though Chad is a Libra, there's Aquarian energy around him all the time. Whenever I read for him, there's always Aquarian energy coming through for him every single time. So that doesn't surprise me. Now, you're coming in as the King of Cups. However, it is facing this in reverse. I don't like to say in reverse because that's not really how the vice versa works, but it does feel that way. It's facing in reverse. Or basically, Chad, your energy is still looking back, a lot of water flowing and emotion, looking backward on what was. That's okay, but remember that's not going to take this forward. And the good thing about this star card is it is in the forward facing and present direction, right? So this energy is present. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have the right size little pieces for my ear, I think, on this. And I'm trying not to disconnect. Can you hear me okay still, guys? It seems like the sound is a lot better with the well-loved deck. It seems like the sound is a lot better with the earpieces in. All right, so with this card being present like this, front and center, I feel like it's and your card being your King of Cups here being reversed, I feel like it's really important to number one, be okay and accepting of the fact that yeah, you are in this period of healing, literally, physically, um, from your medical procedures and physical stuff, but all that other stuff that's going along with it. Allow whatever reviews you need to do during this period of time, but really be preparing to ground yourself in the now, grounding in the now, so that you can really be ready to move forward, right? You can be ready to move forward with without getting any of that energy that's keeping you looking backwards, like this card is, keeping you stuck. Because this conflict card, this Five of Wands, the farther you get the energy moves away from whatever this was, I think the less severe or important this experience feels. Like, yes, at the moment that it happened, it may have felt like, oh my gosh, this is like the most terrible experience. It's just, it's gross. I hate it. I don't ever want to feel this way again. But the farther you move away from it, it probably the emotion is still attached to it, but you're going to be able to see it through a completely different lens, and it isn't going to be as devastating or as huge as it was in the moment. And not only that, that kind of goes with the perspective thing, but you're going to see that in order to get to this next place where you can face on and meet this energy of the star where it's trying to meet you, which is right out there at that point of light in the future where you two meet up, that's powerful. And you've got to be able to do that. You've got to fully make peace with what was. Because somebody, I think this is really so accurate, true, resonates that when we regret the past or we wish things didn't happen the way they did, it's it's understandable because we are usually regretting because we're in a place where we're not fulfilled yet, or we're not something didn't work out the way we wanted it to. But if we regret the past, what we're really saying is whatever's going to come from here on out, that is a result of the thing that we're regretting is not the way it's supposed to be. Everything from here on out is not destined. And that's just not the truth. Everything from here, everything back was destined. It happened the way it happened, and now it's going to unfold the way it's supposed to as a result of that. So, making peace with that, letting things move forward, and letting the future unfold with that star card front and center like it wants to, right? And it's there. That's the great part about this is, regardless of whatever that was that's back stuck back on that past water under the bridge, this star card is still here right now, front and center, manifesting in the now, right? In the now, because the now is all that exists, right? It really is. It's all that exists. And whatever that Five of Wands was, it's all resolving itself little by little, moment by moment, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but it is, right? All right, let me pull Rebecca. I guess we'll move to you next. I have Malia on. Oh, is Malia in here? I haven't seen Malia in yet, so we will go ahead and move to Rebecca next. I'm going to pull one of these cards for Chad real quick, and then we'll move on to let Rebecca ask her question. So, Rebecca, go ahead and put your question up. Hold on one second. Waiting for Sun to move into Leo. Yep. Okay. Hold on, Chad. Somebody in his house is cooking something that smells so nasty. I can't explain to you guys how gross it smells, but it literally smells like a toilet, and it's making me want to. Sorry, guys. I cannot deny it. It's so gross. I don't know what they're making, but it really smells bad. Okay, so Chad, sorry, sorry for that little aside here. Chad, you got the Journey card. It came flying out so strong. This is really good. I hope you're still in here, Chad, because this is really good. The Journey card. It's got a lot of interesting stuff that I see and feel from this card. This is definitely about, yes, taking the time to look back on what, on, the drawing in this card has always reminded me of the cave drawings of bulls and cattle, uh, and some of the earliest drawings known by man, recorded by man, um, in Lascaux, France. It really resembles that. For those of you guys who've taken humanities classes in college, if you think back to one of the first known like paintings on walls or carvings on cave walls, there's one that has the buffalo. I think it's buffalo or some sort of species of buffalo or something like cattle, and they've got the long horns like that. And the colors are very similar. The feeling of it is very similar, except I think in the cave wall drawings they're running. So the interesting thing about the journey card with this is that it's obviously at this point in your journey, you're doing a lot of reviewing of past, but it's preparing you to move forward, right? It's no longer running, it's stopped. There's this pause, right? And there's uh, an acknowledgement of what you've come through, and then it's about letting you move forward. And it says, you are exactly where you are intended to be in your divine design. There is no rush. You're right where you are. And then the card that came out next to that, or accompanying that, is this surprise and delight card. And it's a great reminder, confirmation that what's to come is not only divinely inspired because we're not in charge, higher power is in charge, and the higher power can take what we think was a mistake or a disaster and turn it into the best surprise, delight, and blessings that we didn't even know we wanted, right? And that's what this card says, like taking lemons and making pink lemonade, right? It's really about, like, if we can make lemons into lemonade, what can source energy do with the experiences you've had? The surprise and delight card says, expect the unexpected when you use, excuse me, expect the unexpected when you are bold and dare to do something out of your comfort zone. And I'm going to add to that, when you are bold and dare to do something out of your comfort zone and different than you've done it in the past. That's the key for you. Out of your comfort zone and differently than you've done it in the past. Ooh, it's going to be surprise and delight. I love that. I really do. I love, love, love that for you, dude. That's the best. Okay. I'm losing cards and earbuds. All right, I got it. I hate that. That I hate. Okay, Rebecca. Hope that resonated, Chad. Rebecca. All right, so yeah, I am waiting on Malia. She was like the first on the list before I even came live. So the list is open. If you'd like to get on the list, it's $20 for a question, 25 if you want to ask two. And you see how I'm doing them tonight. I try to take time to really give you what you need. Yeah, I like that. I like both of those tarot decks. I really do. They're really good. But is it a good time to list my home for sale now or a bit later? That's your question one. Chad, if you have a follow-up question too, because of our client relationship that we've already worked out before doing this tonight, if you have a follow-up question, you can let me know and just put it in the chat and I'll come back to you for that. All right, so I'm going to pull from, okay, vice versa. Time to list the house for sale now or a bit later. So Rebecca wants to know if now is a good time to list her home on the market. How was the trip, Rebecca? It looked like you had a lot of fun. I mean, I'm sure you knew you would. We knew you would, but it really looked amazing. The little weekend or late week into the weekend trip, concert, etc. Malia, thank you. Welcome, Malia. So I'm doing Rebecca, and then you're next. I'm doing her questions now. Thank you, Jane. Okay, so yeah, thank you. I'm so glad to be back with you guys. I knew I was going to do it on a Sunday. I just didn't know what Sunday. And after the way this week has been with everything, family and everything, I just thought, you know what? Let's go get some positive energy and spread some positive energy. Let's go. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Foundation, Wheel of Fortune, boom, front and center present. This is Wheel of Fortune. And yeah, this feels strong. It's a good Wheel of Fortune energy. It does feel like now is a good time to take some kind of action. Um, I will say this, another card the Judgment card came out. And the Judgment card is that awakening card, the angel Gabriel blowing on the horn, the souls rising up from the dead to be judged. This card coming out too, that Major Arcana Judgment card, it's not only is the time right? Right now is the time to take swift and affirmative action. Don't hesitate. I think it's a good it's like pull that trigger, do it. You have the Six of Wands coming out. That's a card that suggests returning home, returning not only returning home, but this is that it's victory in the sense that if you've been waiting to do something and you've been pushing something off, kicking the can down the road, like putting something off. This to me says in a question like that, it's time to stop putting it off. It's time to really call in all of that abundance. And also this card is not a solitary card. It's very connected to the community. So what this says to me is that there's going to be a lot of help coming to you in that endeavor from people that you're connected to in your community, and also people that you are connected to, like friends and family, that can be of great help to you. So this feels, yeah, I knew that too, and that's why that really resonates coming out because that's a question that's come up when I've done private readings for you and even on here. And that the last time I did a live like this was months and months ago. I mean, before I went to treatment and everything. So I would say it's been at least what, 6 months? And you were asking stuff like that about that way back then. So, but yeah, with this card coming out at um, help. Now, I will say there may be something. What was that initial feeling I got? There's something you may want to. So start the ball rolling, right? Start the process. You've got the High Priestess card this is the what's technically reverse in the vice versa deck. Now, with the High Priestess card, to me, this is saying don't get so mired down in like, comps and different things in your area, all of that stuff. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts when you set your asking price. Trust your instincts when it comes to a realtor or however you're going to do this. Trust your instincts. Don't get so mired down in crunching numbers. See, as a Virgo, and I know you have a Virgo moon, which is a beautiful thing, but it also scares me because I know as Virgos, and Malia, you know this, Malia and I are Virgos. We're basically birthday buddies in a way. We're like that Virgo energy of like getting so mired down in the details that you can't see the big picture. It's dangerous in a situation like selling a home, right? We're talking real estate. It can be very easy to get way deep into like the rabbit hole of and well, 6 months ago I could have asked this for the house, and 6 months down the road, what could I be asking? Like the timing thing, don't do that. Don't do that. We invent we definitely invented OCD, right? Take lemons and make pink lemonade. I'm going to say that over and over. So take what you've got to work with and do it a little differently this time. Trust your instincts, trust what you feel, right? That was for you guys, Rebecca, Malia, for those of you that have just come in recently. I was talking a little bit earlier when I first came on about where I've been and what I've been through and everything, and how I almost didn't come back to doing readings because when you first, and I'm sorry to interrupt your mini to tell this, Rebecca, but I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm telling you to do. I'm trusting my instincts, and it feels like it needs to be said in a little bit greater detail for all of us. I almost stopped doing this completely because when you get out of a situation like, you have to go to drug and alcohol treatment because you have gotten so out of control and not able to manage your own life like an adult should be able to, what comes along with that, in my experience, and I'm sure you guys can imagine, is a lot of uncertainty and insecurity about trusting yourself. And I've never had a problem trusting myself and my decision making skills in the past, but it's gotten over the last few years, it got really iffy at times. And so it was very easy for me to listen to things and people outside of myself about everything, not just the things that I actually had an issue with, which was self-care and self-medicating, but listening to people who had opinions about my what I do for a living, energy work, and their religious ideas. And I did have some really beautiful not religious but spiritual experiences, and they actually in the end only confirmed more that this is something I'm not just good at doing but I'm supposed to do. And it's almost like denying that I have blue eyes, right? Or that I have freckles on it's like to not do this would be denying a part of myself that is innately me. But there was a time where I allowed outside circumstances to cloud my judgment, I was very vulnerable. And don't do that, right? Trust your knowing, trust yourself, trust what you know and what it may not, even if, and what I'm saying, Rebecca, this thing is not going to stay in my ear because it's not the right size. What I'm saying, let me just put that one there. Can you still hear me okay without that one in, guys? What I was saying about that, Rebecca, is it's exactly that. It's like, don't worry about what numbers are telling you. Trust what you know, because you may come up with a number and a realtor, one realtor or 10 realtors may be like, um, no. And these brokers might have a point. Like, you know what I'm saying? They may be saying this doesn't make sense, right? Um, this is something you have to look because there's a layered blessing and lesson in this. It's layered. There's a big blessing and payoff, but it's also about recognizing that what your gifts truly are, and you're going to be able to feel your way through this. Audio is amazing. Thank you for letting me know. Carlos Lauch, Malia said it can also be a blessing because we are so in depth and prepared, but everything in moderation, right? Learning to go with the flow and trust and flow is one of our soul's care lessons. Absolutely. And this, I think, for me, the reason I got so uncertain and insecure about everything is because this wasn't my first rodeo with substance abuse, that issue. And I thought, I thought I had really beaten this, or that was a thing of my past. It never becomes a thing of your past. That's a part of it's like saying diabetes or, having had cancer. You go in remission, but you're never cured, right? So it's one of those things. And it's you have to accept that. But because of the amount of times I had felt like I banged my head against the wall and was back where I started, or so I thought at the time, it was very easy for me to question everything about my life. And that's sometimes that's not good. It's not good to question the things about yourself that are just absolutely innate and a part of you. So the last part of this, Rebecca, is you got the Empress card. Now the Empress card is coming out, and it was almost turned like this, so it's reverse and present. Empress, this to me says it may take, it's not going to be 9 months like a pregnancy, because I do get a lot of that energy from this. It may take a few months for the house to sell, but it is important that you get it on the market right now. And don't worry if it doesn't sell right away. Okay. And don't worry about where you're pricing it at. Let your price point be your price point. See what happens. Be patient and let it go through. Right. Just let things work out the way they are supposed to, because everything truly will. Really proud of you for embracing your path and owning your passion. Oh, thank you so much. Well, one thing that I will always try to do with you guys when I come on here is be honest, because you know there are charlatans in every line of work, and work like what I do. A lot of people are suspicious of it. The funny part is people in my inner circle, like my extended family, they're not suspicious of what I do as being something that charlatans do. They just think it's like bad. They think it's energy that's like demonic. They know it's real, but they're afraid of it. So that's kind of different, but yeah, you got to. I'll always try to be honest with you guys because I think that's so important, especially with doing this kind of thing, right? All right, so Rebecca, what I get from this is yes, start now. Don't delay any longer. Start now, but be patient because it may not be one of those things where it sells in 2 weeks. And I don't think that that's for any bad reason. I don't think it's going to be that you're going to price it too high. I think it's just there's something coming and it's divine timing. But for some reason, it feels important that you get it out there now, that you don't wait. And this may be something that sells in December. And I don't know why December is such a strong word. It could be something else that's going to happen attached to this, but it may, if you put it on the market by between now and September, it may not sell until December, but it will, and the whole experience is going to be a lesson and a blessing that is really divinely ordered for you right now. So that's important. All right, let me pull a Veritas Oracle card for you. Hey, have you guys ever read this book, The Shack? Did you guys ever hear that book, The Shack, that was made into a movie? There's like a follow-up to it called The Shack Revisited. Someone just gave that to me to read. I didn't even know there was a follow-up book. Good advice there. Keep tabs on your voicemail. Keep a journal. Things do occur suddenly, but pay attention. Pay attention. Be present. Right. All right. It was actually a really good movie. It had religion in it, but it wasn't overtly religious in any way. You've got the reflection card and the preparation card in your foundation. So begin the preparation now, right? Begin the preparation now. This feels like, yeah, moving, literally. I mean, it is movement, right? There's so many wheels in this card. Just love your shuffling technique. Been doing this a long time, my friend. All right, preparation. Sow the seeds and prepare for the rich results you desire by showing active faith when there isn't a sign in sight. Faith is so important, right? Faith is so important. If I had been faithful to my knowing, to my higher power, to my ascended master, I wouldn't have ever questioned what I do, right? I would know that this is where I'm supposed to be, but I had not, I was lacking in faithfulness because I was not exactly in the reading I just did before yours. Um, it's about when you're in the middle of that storm, it's sometimes so hard to appreciate why it's happening until you get through it, right? Then you see it and you go, oh, that's why this had to happen. But yeah, the growth period is tough. But yeah, this is really good. Preparation. Sow the seeds, prepare for the rich soil, the rich result. Active faith. I like that. And then reflection. So coming reflection. I love this the illustration in this card, and I love how if you look at it, what's beautiful about the reflection is that's so much based on perception, right? The perception in the reflection is not the same. Our perception changes how the reflection looks. The reflection is there, and it represents everything that's there, but it doesn't reflect it exactly as it is, right? It's different. In the reflection card, it says, we don't truly learn from experiences unless we decide to reflect on them and seek to see the big picture from a higher perspective. So I do feel preparing is going to be big, get the ball rolling, and then there's going to be a lot of lessons and blessings along the way. Yeah, generosity. Yeah, Jane always has such wise words. Okay. But oh, I love that, Malia. Sending you lots of aloha and protective light for an abundant outcome with your sale. It was closed on mine after 5 years. Did you sell the place in Hawaii that, or your place in, that's so awesome, Malia. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, congratulations. That's good. I know that had to be quite an undertaking. I'm sorry I wasn't around while it was going on to be there and support you, but I was energetically. I always think of you and send you love and light. Right, of course. That's always the way. But you know what? It'll work out. That's why I don't know why, but I feel like if it's you shouldn't wait, Rebecca, but even if you do it now, it may be a little later in the year before it all falls into place, but it's going to be perfect. It will be perfect. All right. Do you want to do your follow-up question now, Rebecca, or do you want me to move to Malia and come back to you for the follow-up? Whatever you guys want to do. Anybody, if you want to get on the list is open. It's $20 for one question, $25 for two, and you can send it over to Cash App. I pinned. It's been a long weekend. I pinned the information that Jane put up for me in the chat, guys. Okay, Malia, aloha, Malia. Well, it may sound like reverse psychology, but I wouldn't say that's what it is. It's getting the ball rolling and doing it now and being patient is I mean, I don't know why I see December, but that's what I see. So it may take a minute, but it still needs to I still say move forward. Start doing it. Wondering if new business venture I'm hoping to go into my family will be lucrative. Okay, hold on a second. I have to take your prenatal. Right? See, I look for a business venture from Malia with your family. Hmm. Two majors, five of swords. That's the defeat card. Let me clarify what that's coming out in between them. Okay. Um, so yes, there's good stuff, and then there's an asterisk. Malia. Okay. Hey Adam, welcome. Malia, regarding this business venture. So two major arcana is coming out right off the bat. Okay. You got the Hermit coming out here. Sorry, these cards. The illustrate. This is the Toth deck, and the illustrations on this deck are not at all familiar, but the card does give a lot of great visual energy and information. I just wasn't remembering what card that was. That's the Hermit in this deck, and you also have the Hierophant coming out. The Hierophant and the Hermit coming out together, really good energy, right? This is going to be similar to what I was seeing regarding the house listing. This feels like both great abundance and blessings coming in and also great lessons at the same time. Now, there's an asterisk beside this one because the Five of Swords came out with this. And the Five of Swords, it's literally called defeat in this deck. It came out beside a Knight of Swords energy. So that's a lot of air energy, a lot of mental energy, and it's masculine energy. So I don't know what this is, but masculine energy involved in a business that is very much in their head too much could be something to look out for or to be prepared for in advance. and not even, or in a way, because of the way these two cards feel, it's almost like saying don't listen to that energy. I don't know if that's within yourself or if it's a masculine person energy in your life that maybe being a little negative or pushing something. Trust what you know, right? Trust your experience. And when it comes to this energy, whatever this is, I would say if this energy is in any way being negative or discouraging you or telling you that you can't do it, kind of that negative self-talk, don't give it that much life, because the 5 of Swords also, you have to remember, that's our ego, but it can also be not, when we think of the word ego, we think of that blown up sense of self, but the ego that says you can't do it, you're not worth it, you don't deserve it, that ego is a lot of what's present in this card too, even more so than sort of an inflated sense of self. So I think this feels like it's that part of yourself that doubts and that is, not, doesn't feel free to just take a leap, take a risk. And I mean, with the Hierophant and the Hermit here, those are a little, they're both really good cards, but they're a little bit in conflict with it, of and within themselves, but they're also they can be used as a balancing force for each other for good. I'm going to clarify a little bit about this too, because I do feel like there's a lot more here. In the Hermit card, Malia, do you see the three-headed dog? That's standing out very, very strong. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but that is where my eyes keep going when I look at that Hermit card. I understand that for sure. Got the Five of Cups clarifying it. So that is definitely past energy. And don't work, don't allow your past connection to grief to stop you from taking a healthy risk, okay, or to make you feel like you are afraid or doing something wrong by risking a little bit. It's not a bad thing. You do have the Two of Cups here and the Ace of Wands, okay? Ace of Wands. This to me does feel, yeah. With you've also got the Nine of Pentacles in the foundation. So it's going to be important for you to be, remember when you're doing this that you dot your I's, cross your T's, protect yourself in this, right? Yes, take that leap of faith. Do it. Go for it. This is not something to doubt yourself in, because doubt doesn't do us any good, right? Especially if it's something that we're going to do. It feels like the wheels are already pretty much turning on this. So having doubts and giving those doubts any life or air is not going to, it's not going to, there's no positive side to that. It's not going to do any good. So the only thing I would say is protect yourself. This is about you being very strong and protective with what is material to you, right? That big full moon, she's walking right towards that with that dove on her hand, and all of those pentacles are surrounding her. There's no one else here. Now, that dog had 3 heads. So, yes, you said it would be the 3 of us. So, I'm assuming you mean you, him, and your daughter, right? That's beautiful. And I love that. But what this card says to me is it's you who's putting in the biggest piece to this and who has the most to lose potentially from this. At least that's how this card feels. So based on that, make sure that you protect yourself in that way. And when I say protect yourself, what I'm saying is, um, if you're the one who has the most to lose, then you need to make sure that you're the one who has the ultimate decision-making power when it comes to things that could cause you to lose or gain, right? Yes, the other people involved, whether it's 2 more or 10 more, are going to be an important piece of whatever you're doing, this venture. But at the end of the day, it's really important that you're the one that make sure that you can't go back and say, man, if I hadn't given this person that power or this person that decision making power or this person that, I wouldn't have lost this, right? That's what I would say is the going to be key for you is to, yes, make sure that yeah, and moving at your own pace is really important, right? But also making sure that yeah, Adam, I did. Adam, you're going to be next, and then I will go ahead and put your question up, and then if I can't, when it comes to you, I'll either come back to you or we'll do that. Can I book a follow person? Of course, yeah. I'm doing them. I've been doing them. I've actually been back doing personals for about 5 weeks now. I just haven't really been on the channel to talk about it. So I've been like Rebecca and I did one. We've done two, haven't we, Rebecca? In the last month, and I think she felt like they were pretty good. So, obviously, taking self care makes the channel clear. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna finish up this with Malia, and then I'm gonna go to Adam, and then we can come back through if anybody wants to do their second questions. All right. Yeah. So yes, don't let that Knight of Swords energy, that defeat, creep in before you've even taking your chance or taking your shot. You know what I mean? Don't do that to yourself. Don't let yourself do that to yourself. Okay, honey. Let me pull from Malia. Let's call it. This is that Veritas Oracle deck that I love. I got in touch with my friend Victoria who made these cards. She was a reader who created this deck with a friend, and I told her because I was doing a personal reading for someone recently, and this deck had the most beautiful message for someone in our community who lost a loved one recently, and she hasn't been doing readings for a couple of years, but she was really happy to know that her cards are still helping people, and it was a really big moment too. These cards are powerful. These Veritas Oracle cards. I think they are available online. I don't know. She sent mine to me as a thank you. Okay. Wow. Dedication. So you've got the dedication card and the emotions card. So obviously we know what that's about, the emotions card. Dedication. Yeah, look at that. And you notice there are three people in this, two adults and a child. I think the intention is to make that person just look further away, not to be a child, but I think that the message is clear, right, for you. Dedication. Everyone in this card is contributing to this community, to this little community and its survival. Not really its survival, but for it thriving. It says be devoted, disciplined, and dedicated to your creative natural talents and skills. Consider casting your net wider. So if that's not a confirmation of what you asked, Malia, I don't know what is. Consider casting your net wider. It's beautiful, right? It's just powerful, right? It's such a confirmation that you're supposed to be going in this new direction and taking on new challenges and challenging your soul in a way that you haven't been able to with what you've been doing. That always feels so good, right? I love doing this and I'm going to continue to do it, but there's also things for me on the horizon that are going to be challenging and expansive, and I love that, and I think that's how we stay. Martha Stewart, whether you love her or hate her, Martha Stewart always says, if you're not changing, you're dying, right? If you're not changing, you're dying. So like you should be ever evolving. I love that, Jane. That's definitely a confirmation too, and it's true. For the emotions card, this is I love this because the little black dachshund in the illustration was representative of my friend's dog that she has in real life, whose name is Peanut. And Peanut is a dachshund, and he is adorable. But Peanut's got a red collar on, He's a fiery little guy, and but the black does represent in this deck specifically, you know, that he there's a mania, there's a manic depressive energy to this because the red is passion and fiery and manic, and the black is kind of the sedentary and that's and the sad. And so there's a balance that needs to be struck here in this emotional card, and it's finding that balance and finding that place where it's sort of one foot on the like not necessarily one foot in, one foot out, but a realization that it's all contributing, right? All, the good, the bad, the middle, it's all contributing, and finding that balance instead of being extreme to one end or the other is going to be really, really helpful. Anyway, it says in this emotions card, our feelings are a demonstration of our energy and motion or emotion. Our emotions, to where are you extending your feelings? So be very aware, right, of how those thoughts become those feelings, and those feelings create that energy that's going to be helpful or deterrent to success, right? And so make sure that you're not getting caught up in an energy because of thoughts and then feelings and then energy that is blocking you from success, because everything looks so abundant and so good and so yes, it all feels like a yes. I mean, two majors, right? Except for that defeat card, which feels like a big no, and that's all mental energy. And the mental energy is real, but it's only real because of what it creates. So we got to manipulate that energy, shift that energy, change that energy to create the things you want instead of things you don't want, right? I love dachshunds too. They're so cute. Growth. Yes. Jane, the little dog on the full card. Yes, I love that. I love, love, love that. Okay, now Malia, did you want to ask a second question now, or do you want me to do Adam's question and then come back? Whatever you want to do. Okay, so Adam wants to know, I'm trying to, I just saw him put it up about career, I believe. Yeah, what do you see regarding my career over the next 6 months? Okay, so we're going to look at your career, and then we'll go to Rebecca Malia. All right, career. Adam's energy, the clear the recognize for him and his eyes. Good. Spirit telling me. Career outlook in the next 6 months. Okay, lots happening here. Too many cards there. Okay. Oh, okay. So Adam, the very first card that came out was the Hanged. The Hanged Man card for me is saying that there is some change coming, but it and it's coming likely within the next 6 months. I would say within the next 3 to 4 months, even. But before you get to that change that comes in the next 3 to 4 months, there's some reason that you're being kept exactly where you are. Because the thing about the Hanged Man is, it isn't. It sounds like such a terrible card because we think of like a hanging, right? A public execution historically, but that's not at all what this is. This is about a pause. This is about a pause in order to learn or to be enlightened even about something that has to do with the past and the future. So for whatever reason, and it is a big part of where you're heading, you're supposed to be not moving forward right now. You're not supposed to be changing. So as far as the things that are going to change in your career, and there is change coming. Right now, it's more of a setting up period, a preparation period, because you have the Three of Pentacles in reverse, literally coming here, and then the Ace of Wands. So what that's telling me is career wise, and I mean not new job, career wise, something is changing. Like whatever path you set out on as a career, the thing that you thought, oh, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life till retirement, that's not what you're going to be doing. You're changing. And it was something you really thought, because this card typically is something I see, and I do a lot of love reading, relationship readings. This card is a card I see normally when someone is at the beginning of a relationship or a long cycle, like beginning of a marriage, moving in, building a new home, starting a family. This card's coming out in reverse for your career. So this card is saying whatever you have been doing for a living and had been planning to is about to change, and it's about to change very soon. The opportunity for it to change is about to happen very soon, I should say. It's always up to you, right? You could choose to stay and continue doing what you've always been doing, or you could choose to do something new. And that opportunity is coming, and it's going to be yours and yours alone to decide how you want to respond to that opportunity. But it's definitely coming. You have the Sun card. Sun card. A lot of childlike excitement, energy connected to whatever this Ace of Wands is, which is representative of the new opportunity. Um, this is so crazy because you know what it feels like? There's something for you, Adam, that you dreamed about doing or being as a kid. You know, it's one of those things that sometimes we tend to forget about these things. I know, like, I remembered recently how as a child I used to want to live on a farm. Like I used to literally tell all my family, not just my parents, but like my extended family, my grandparents, my great aunt, my cousins. I would say, hey, we're all going to get together and we're going to sell all of our, when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, I would say we're going to sell all of our houses and we're going to go buy a big farm with all these animals and all these crop, like horses, like just, I don't know what it was, but I wanted animals everywhere and people in a big family living on a farm. And I really wanted us to do that. Like I was serious. I was like telling everybody, "This is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it." And they would laugh and they would go along with it because I think they thought it was funny that I was so. I had planned out the whole family and extended family's, life ahead of time. But obviously that never happened. But something funny that I realized recently at 48 and a half years old, but I realized like, I let go of that idea as a kid. I realized that wasn't what was going on. But now my dad actually basically lives on a ranch. I mean, he has horses and 20 Brangus cattle and a donkey and tons of dogs and guinea fowl. He lives on a farm, basically a ranch. But and the realization that that did happen and that it's right there. Um, and he's the last person I would have thought would somehow manifest a dream of mine. And he didn't know he was doing it necessarily, but it just happened that way. This was like something like that for you, but it's attached to a career. So for you, Adam, it's something like that. It's something that maybe as a child you really dreamed of doing or thought you were going to do, and at one time really wanted to and planned to do that, but let go of that dream for whatever reason or another. This is what that feels attached to. The sun's out, it's bright, it feels very hopeful, and there's that springtime energy. All of this is about something. It almost feels, and I feel a lot of that judgment card energy of like something coming back to life that you didn't even remember had not panned out. It's almost like you forgot about it and are going to be reminded of it when the opportunity manifests. And it's going to happen very unexpectedly, right? Ace of Wands on this side is lightning striking. So it's not expected. It's something just coming in and just unexpectedly popping in and offering itself. So that's pretty powerful and I love it. But I would say there is a change. It's an opportunity for a big change, and it's something you have almost forgotten about. So um, until just recently or until the near future. I don't know if it's something that you've already been reminded of and that's why you're asking, or if it's something that you hadn't even thought about even as of right now, but is going to avail itself as an opportunity to change paths in a big way, right? In a very big way. And that's pretty powerful. Let me see. Guys, the list is open. If you'd like to get on the list for a mini reading, you can ask one question or two. One question is $20. Two questions, 25. I'm going back after I pull these cards for Adam. What's the oracle message for Adam? Okay. You got the strength card. This actually is one of my favorite illustrations as far as just the appearance of it. I just think it's really beautiful, the male and female lion. And what this is saying is your see how the masculine, the lion, is sitting in the grass, in the green grass in place, and the female lion is staring at him, ready to approach him, and it's sort of almost in motion. Um, what that's kind of saying to me is when you look at this as like two parts of aspects of yourself, right? Your masculine energy and your feminine energy. You've been making a lot of decisions that have taken where you are now by listening to that masculine side, right? The side which is about survival, hunter gatherer, that kind of thing. The more feminine side, the creative side, the emotional side is now wanting to step in and offer a new path, a new opportunity, something that allows you to lean into different parts of yourself and gifts. And I'm going to read the strength card now and say and what it says on the front. It says, "Strength, it takes great strength to be authentically you. Embrace the role you so majestically are able to embody in this moment." So this is about you embracing aspects of yourself that maybe you haven't ever embraced before in order to do something you've never even really thought you were going to be capable of doing. And then in your foundational energy here with this, you've got the peace cards, dove bringing that fig leaf. This is about new beginnings, right? New life, new beginnings, a whole new life, right? I mean, obviously that illustration is a representation of a representation of a representation of, we think of like the flood story going back to like Gilgamesh, or for most like Judeo-Christians, the Noah and the flood. But that flood story and how the dove brings that fig leaf back as a sign of hope that there is something there. It doesn't end here, right? There's a new opportunity, there's new life. And so I love that that's in your foundation. You're right at that place where you need to be for this to all happen. It says, peace, powerfully embracing acceptance of circumstances evolving. PEACE, powerfully embracing acceptance of circumstances evolving. Be a peaceful presence and lead by example. Be a messenger of kindness, compassion, and grace. And just be at peace with who you are and what you have to offer, no matter if that aligns with your loved ones or those who don't love you so much, point of view on the world and who you are or not. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is that you are at peace with you and you accept and love yourself, and you know that you are aligned with who you are meant to be and what you are meant to be doing. That's what's most important always. All right, hope that resonates for you, Adam. I haven't seen anybody else get on the list. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Yeah. So next would be Rebecca, question number 2. Rebecca, question 2. Do you have a second question? Let's see. I'm trying to see if I should use this deck or the other. I got to kind of feel them. Is there anything I need to know right now regarding the next 6 months? Anything Rebecca needs to know right now regarding the next 6 months? Let's see. Great. Foundation, 10 of Pentacles. So right off the bat, I would say the next few months are going to be very materially and tangibly abundant, right? In ways that are, and you're going to really learn a lot about who is for the long term in your life and who is not. That's going to become very clear, right? With this side coming out with the man and the dog, loyalty. There's going to be a lot about loyalty, who is really in your corner and who you can depend on long term. You do have the Hermit card and the Wheel of Fortune coming out again. So let me look at these really quickly. It's really going to be important for you in this new chapter with that Wheel of Fortune there and then the Hermit. It's really going to be important for you to lead. for you to be a leader in your relationships and in your life, for you to take the reins of things and really, you know, be confident in your ability to lead with emotional balance, right? That's going to be so key because you do have a page of wands here in your energy. That could either be a son, it could be a romantic partner, or one of your sons. But with the page of wands, this is sometimes someone who um, could be prone to stubbing their toe a little bit if they, or striking out because they swing too fast at curveballs, right? Or sinkers. Like, I don't know how to explain that in a without a sorry for the baseball analogy. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. This could be someone who has a tendency to let passion lead them a little too much. It's not a bad thing, just a little too much. Everything in a little bit more moderation. And so you leading the way is going to be key. The Three of Wands here is a really good card as far as the next 6 months, showing like karmic returns that are abundant and that you've been kind of waiting for. Um, you have the Devil card in reverse. So this is really interesting. The Devil card a lot of times can represent like toxicity that needs to be dealt with, but in reverse on this side, this is about not making the same mistake twice because it came out really attached with that Three of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune and Hermit. So I think really this is about you having learned from your past experiences in relationships, your past experiences in loss, grief, disappointment, and seeing red flags and knowing how to say, okay, so this is my boundary, this is what we need to do, and this is how we keep this from going forward. And please be on board with this because I don't make exceptions to boundary crossing, right? Like, it's sort of more saying not that this is something you have to worry about happening again, but it's something because of your experiences that you can prevent from happening again by setting clear and bendable boundaries, right? Like, this is it. This is the way I do things. And to keep that in check, I think the message with this is just like trust yourself and be a leader. Be the leader that you are, because there's a lot to gain from this, right? There's a lot of good. Ten of Pentacles isn't a little bit of good. It's a lot of good stuff. But it is going to require, with these two cards, you being sort of in charge. Definitely don't want to go down the same road as before. No, I don't think you will. I don't think either one of you will, and I don't think it's even a concern, but I think that message comes up about that Devil in reverse because it's like when you start to see a red flag, nip it in the bud, put a boundary in place and put a solution in place, and that's going to be so key. So there are going to be opportunities for growth in your new relationship in the next few months. Um, it's probably going to really grow quickly too. Uh, you may have some challenges with, he doesn't have a son, so I don't know if it would be one of your sons or with him. I don't think it's him though. I'm not sure who this is. I'm going to clarify this. There may be some kind of a challenge. If it is him, it may be a challenge of like sometimes getting a little bit overzealous when it comes to certain things that maybe he needs to be a little bit more reticent with. Prudence. Yeah, the Prudence card is coming out here. It's the the Eight of Pentacles, and that's about being very deliberate, right? Being very deliberate and taking things step by step, not jumping ahead or moving too fast, right? Yeah, it feels like a teenager kind of. That could be it. But it could also be a grown ass man who's just, has moments where they need to be reined in a little bit. Six of Cups. So the pleasure card is upright. Six of Cups. It's called pleasure in this deck. It is really a great card as far as relationships and like someone who's a real partner in growth. Like, there's a nostalgic childlike connection that goes way back, that feels deep, that feels almost like it's from another lifetime potentially, but it's also potential for growth together and doing that growth simultaneously. And that, with the Prudence card, says that's part of the reason the universe wants you to kind of slow things down and not go super fast, because by taking it step by step, day by day, and incrementally, and not getting two Page of Wands energy in there, it's going to keep that growth together. Like, you're going to continue. That's how you grow together and not apart, or at different rates. by not taking anything too quickly, right? Because sometimes we all have a tendency, I think, to get ahead of ourselves in relationships when it feels good and it feels like, you just want to throw caution to the wind and move forward. And you can in a lot of ways, and it's not a bad thing. But there are certain areas where it's better if you can just slow it down a little bit, right? Yeah. Okay. So for this round of questions, I'm going to pull from the energy oracle instead. Yeah, I felt that. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Okay. You got the woman holding a coin in your foundation, right? That's powerful. That's really empowered energy. You got the little black cat there. A lot of protection. Now, you do have the hostilities card coming out. So there are going to be challenges that are going to come up. This card looks a lot more challenging than it actually is. And the reason I say that is if you really look at the card, um, it's it's almost like someone sometimes putting up a little bit of a front because their ego gets easily injured because of the past. The card is actually a beautiful card. It's very peaceful. It's fall or autumn. It's like this beautiful peaceful time. It looks so peaceful, but then the person is getting triggered or spiked into this energy of like being very, very aggressive and defensive. Just be aware of that because the reason I think it shows what it shows in the card is this is a lot of times having to learn how to operate and navigate, not operate, navigate, operate a situation by navigating someone's um, sort of thin-skinnedness. Certain people have trigger spots or certain areas that where they can get a little thin-skinned, and that's what that's about. It's important when navigating that to remember who and what you are in this. That's why you're the leader here. As crazy as it may sound sometimes, because I sometimes when people are like, "You're a leader, you're the this," I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing either," but you are sometimes meant to lead, and this is one of those times you're meant to lead. You're meant to lead. You've got the journey card again, the journey card. You've got lots of potential outcomes, right? And destinations. That's the exciting part about this. It's all up to you. Like you get to decide. And you've got the sun card, happiness, right? It's all there. The sun, all of it. It's all right here, but it's really up to you to decide how you get there. And you're right where you are now is a perfect place to start. Um, the big, I think, key to this for you is to remember that you're the one in the lead and you decide where this goes. Of course, you don't want to, come across like you're trying to be, micromanage something or anyone. But when I say the lead, I think you're intended to lead this situation with this person in as much as using your past experience and the wisdom you've gained from past experience and putting those things in place like boundaries and intentions to circumvent and avoid issues that could potentially come up because there's still a lot of healing and this person for whatever reason was sent to heal with you, and healing is never a smooth path. It's sometimes a bumpy path, as we all know. So it's okay, right? Just remember that as you navigate this, and remember that that's part of it. The fun, the excitement, the happiness, that's all the good fun, fun, excitement, happiness stuff. But when it's about healing and things like that, there's going to be the other side, and you just have to be prepared and remember your role, right, to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible. Malia, do you want to put your second question up? Are you still here, Miss Malia? I know. Also, yeah. Don't worry. I know that. Yikes! That sounds kind of crazy and scary. It's not. It's not. You're gonna. This is all. We're looking at 6 months here. There's gonna be ups, downs, days where it's. But yeah, patience. You're doing fine. This is all happening exactly the way it's supposed to. Always remember that. And okay, so I have Adam. I have your second question. I'm going to do Malia's, and then I'm going to do your second question. So I'm just doing like a round of each one because I think it's probably just going to be you guys for tonight, which is great. I've been long-winded, so we will do it this way. General? Okay. The general guidance for Malia at this time. Anything else that she needs to be aware of for her high school? I hate when the same cards try to come out because, you know, you already asked your question about, whoa, you already asked your question about, it would be so nice if I could find a piece that fits my ear better. Let me see. Um, Malia, the Fool card came out again. Now on this side, the Fool card is following that shooting star. So this is going to be a lot of non-physical guidance, whether it's angelic or a loved one. You're going to be getting a lot, and I know last year you had a loss. There's going to be a lot of non-physical guidance in this card, and it is about taking a leap of faith, but it's going to be more of like a really confident leap of faith if you trust that guidance because you're being helped, right? You're getting a lot of spiritual, non-physical help and keeping faith in that, right? There's that green cloak that the Fool is wearing in this deck is all about this is a leap of faith, right? You're not taking much with you, but the green is all about abundance, right? Money. This is growth, expansion. It's not something where you take a leap and lose a lot. It's taking a leap where you really gain. Now, the Five of Swords came out again, just like it did in the Toth deck. Five of Swords in this deck, it's a lot clearer by the picture. There's that energy of like ego getting in the way, and both of the individuals in this illustration are it is ego, right? And it's almost like two sides of the ego. You don't want to let your sort of the giant of your dreams or the dwarf of your fears, you don't want either one of those to lead the way. You want the truth, right? The dreams, the what can be, the excitement to lead the way, and shut down both of those energies as you do that. You also got the Ace of Swords. So there is this idea, right? This light bulb moment with the Ace of Swords, and that crown is saying like this is something that can literally be a part of your if you trust and do this the way that you're being inspired to do it by your guides, by your higher power, if you do that, it's saying this is going to become such an abundant part of not just your life experience, but your family lineage. It's something that you can have success in the physical sense of success, but also something that you can do that is going to leave something for your family and your descendants down the line. So that feels really powerful. One second. 8 of Wands. This is something if you do it this way and you manifest it properly, it's going to be fast. It's going to be fast forward movement and success. You also got the Nine of Pentacles in your foundation facing front and center present. So yeah, trust your those light bulb like trust the light bulb idea and just prepare yourself and go into it taking that leap of faith, but do it in a balanced way. Do it in a way that feels good and doesn't feel like you're cutting corners or getting ahead of yourself or doubting yourself. Get your head on straight for this and do it right because there's a lot of potential. I want to say a lot at stake, but that's not really true. There's only a lot at stake if you do it in a way that's not honoring your best and highest self, right? Because that Five of Swords energy that keeps coming out, I think that's more about, like you said, it's like don't get into that defeatist mentality. Don't doubt yourself. Also, don't, you know, get into a manic place either. I keep identifying it as like mania versus, and I know that's not you. I'm not trying to attach a label to you. That's just the way the energy appears. It's like you don't want to be too high about it or too low about it, right? You just want to find that really beautiful space in the middle, that sweet spot, and you're going to be just fine. So keep that in mind. Let me see an energy card for you. Contract. This is really great. You've got the contract card. I think this is really powerful. I think this is saying, because we talked about balance, right? This feels like very much like justice. Um, I think it's going to be important before you do whatever this venture is, that you get some legal things written up and signed by any and everyone involved as to what your agreement is and how it's going to work. This is really, really powerful, and it's also like it feels good. It feels like this is going to be the way to do it. And the man holding a heart is in your foundation. So that's really beautiful too. There's some kind of it it feels to me like this is going to be an experience that's going to connect you in a way that maybe you haven't ever been able to connect before emotionally and spiritually. And so that's powerful. There's a lot of, because the caring connection card is right behind it. So whatever you're planning, just follow it, do it, but do whatever this is first. Okay. Yes. Okay, sorry about that. I hope that didn't get. I don't want like I feel I heard myself saying stuff about like the giant of your dreams and all that stuff like, and it sounds like I'm talking about like bipolar stuff. I'm not at all. I'm talking more about energy that feels bipolar, and we all have that tendency to either get too confident or too afraid, and that's what trips us all up as human beings. We don't want to be overly confident and have a blind spot, or overly fearful and not take a risk, right? So that's basically what it was. You're so welcome. Okay, so I'm going to do Adam. Second question was about moving, I think. Moving to Atlanta or Charlotte potentially in the next 6 months. Okay. This is the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck. I don't know why I'm going to pull from this, though. That's where the message is, it feels like. Yep, guys, if you want to get on the list, I have time for more. And if you want to get on the list, do it now. You can send your payment over. It's $20 for one question or $25 for two. If you would like a personal reading, I am doing them right now. You can book those with me whenever you want. You can email me at rayoflighttarot@gmail.com, or if you have my number, you can message me. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. Here we go. I would love to connect with you guys, especially now. Okay, so Adam, boom, right off the bat. Wow. You've got the Six of Fire. Beautiful card here. This is really for you. saying, and you were asking about the next 6 months, you've got the Six of Fire and the Abundance card, a major arcana, with the Emotion and Intellect card. All three of these cards coming out like that. Hold on. And what's funny is, and I'll talk about these cards in just a second, what's funny is in your foundation, you have what's akin to the Hanged Man card in the Dreams of Gaia deck. Remember you had that Hanged Man card? Right now is a time of sort of like a pause. It's like putting everything on pause, going in, retreating inward, and really, really taking a personal inventory in order to move forward. But while doing this, he's balancing some weight on his shoulders. Um, that Six of Earth is really about balance, but it's also about you hold the key to your future. See that key around his neck? There's you're far more in control of this than you probably realize. A lot of times, I always tell people to focus on to let go of the idea of control. In this case, it's a lot of the opposite. You're really much more in control of this than you realize. Um, I do feel like there's a big opportunity to move to Atlanta within the next 6 months. I'm not sure about Charlotte. You had asked about both. Atlanta feels really connected here. Like I just feel a strong pull there. Charlotte, I guess, is a possibility, but I don't see it here, right? That doesn't mean it can't happen. Doesn't mean it's not meant to happen, but I can't see it here at all, right? It's really interesting. But yeah, that with this card here, you are the one that you're sort of the master of your own destiny when it comes to these things. Um, what's weird is the 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 threads, like the spiritual emotional cords connecting you to both places feels stronger in Charlotte for some reason than Atlanta. I don't know why, but the threads feel stronger in Charlotte, but the opportunity feels stronger in Atlanta. So I don't know what that's about for you, but there's an abundance card here. So there is like this is very similar to what we saw earlier because I noticed this happens a lot. Even though you'll get two different questions, the cards kind of come out the same for both because the energy is the same, whether we're talking about love, work, whatever, because it's all happening at the same time, right? You do have this big opportunity. And I do feel like it is about self-acceptance. Both of these cards are about accepting sides of yourself and aspects of yourself that you have struggled to accept, right? So that would be why then if your I didn't know that, but that would make sense if your family's in Charlotte. That's why there feels like there's more emotional cords, but there's an opportunity that's going to come more in the Atlanta area. So that makes sense. But this is about you. This feels like it's all about accepting yourself, loving yourself more, and not worrying about so much about anyone else. And if you really do that, and I'm not saying turn your back on anyone. Obviously, you love your family, your friends. There are people in your life that are important to you. But this is really about you and really listening to your inner voice because it's like there's going to be a door that just opens up for you. The more you listen to your own inner voice and accept yourself and lean into the parts of yourself that maybe you haven't allowed to yourself to express or to be very expressive in the past. And those parts of yourself are coming deep from your own intellect, your own emotions, right? And it doesn't matter how it manifests to the outside world. What matters is that it's an authentic expression of you and who you know you are. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, as far as the answer to your question, I see Atlanta as being an opportunity coming in. I see Charlotte as a option, a lot of connectedness there with family. But as far as an opportunity, they do feel very divergent. One is more about family and connectedness to the that from the connections from the past that will always be connections. The other feels a bit like it's about opportunity and new connections for the future. So if that were me, I would be looking more toward whatever this opportunity and the opportunity to make new connections for the future is. That Atlanta area, whatever that is. But this is something you have to decide for yourself ultimately. It's not a decision anybody else can make but you. And you've got to be, you know, okay with that. You got to be able to live with the decision, right? So like if you decide, okay, I want to, go after this dream or whatever this opportunity turns out to be and move to Atlanta, and then you regret it because, say a family member needs you, whatever. You got to think about all of that stuff, right? But opportunity wise, they're definitely in two different places. The connection to family and the opportunity are in different places, it does feel like. But there's connections in Atlanta too. Even if it's not most of your family, there's definitely connections there and new connections too. So that's important to know. You have the attachment card in your foundation. Make sure that you, yeah, and then the walking away card. So make sure that you don't let any old attach. So connection, remember this as a sort of point of reference. Yeah, it's tough, right? And you're so welcome. But this is the best advice I can give you regarding these cards. Attachment card. Remember this phrase: connection good, attachment bad. And that's generally true across the board, I have learned in life. Connection good, attachment bad. Now, are we going to become attached to people that we have connections with that are our closest connections? Most of the time, it's going to be attachment is there too. But usually, attachment is not healthy. Even though it's usually connected to a relationship that is healthy, attachment is bad, connection is good. So the more like you can't tell someone who has, you know, who's falling in love with someone or has a long-term partner or a child, for example. I mean, you're going to be attached to those people. That's almost it's natural. But the more it can be a healthy connection and less of an attachment that holds us back, that's better, right? So when you've got the attachment card coming out with the walk away card, to me, that tells me this is an attachment to certain things that maybe you need to walk away from because they're holding you back. See how the attachment card looks kind of dark, depressed, solitary, and gray? And also there's that mask. So this is an attachment to a part of yourself that you've sort of been being to please others rather than to be yourself. So you've been wearing a slight mask to make to in some way, and we don't know what, but you probably know in some way to adhere to what the outside world has come to expect from you. We all do that, right? But this is saying if you truly want your world to come into color, you've got to walk away, right? You've got to walk away from those old attachments and know that the new connections that come in when you walk away from that are going to bring your life into full color because you're going to be you're, instead of being who people have come to expect you to be, you're going to be being who you truly are, and that's going to bring you a whole new world of opportunity. And next to that came out the cornucopia card, which is just like it's almost like being Alice in Wonderland. It's freaking crazy, but it's awesome too. So it's almost like your whole idea of existence and what reality is going to change based on this, but in a really cool, good way. Okay, so I like that a lot for you. All right. Hope that helped you guys. Adam, thank you. Rebecca, thank you. Malia, thank you. It was so good to hang out with you guys. Chad, thank you for coming in. I will be probably starting to do this at least once a week. I'm sorry, at least once every 2 weeks, if not once a week when I'm back doing more and more because I've got to get some generals up this week. But it's been fun. Thank you, Jane, for all your help. Thank you for the support and love. I love all of you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Like I said, if you'd like to get a personal one-on-one reading, I do them like this, face to face on FaceTime or Zoom, or I can do recorded videos for you guys too. So just shoot me an email. It's rayoflighttarot@gmail.com, RAYOFLIGHTT, 2T, AROT@gmail.com, and we'll get you set up for a one-on-one. I do usually 30 minutes or 1 hour. So those are the two options.